listeners and viewers, to another week of Deducation, the Teachers Talking Terror podcast, where this guy, Mike,
and Courtney
are here to talk about another movie, which it's not the oldest movie we've talked about on the show, but it is almost the oldest movie we've talked about on the show. And I believe the oldest two movies we've talked about on the show have both starred Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
We're here this week to talk about 1980s Canadian horror film, Prom Night, starring Jamie Lee Curtis and Leslie Nielsen and a bunch of other people. Prom Night. We do have prom coming up, and could you believe it's mid-March already?
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. We have less than 50 days of school left.
Yeah, it's it feels like Hundreds Day was just a couple of weeks ago.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
The time of the school year has been so weird. I remember talking to my students on February 21st. Guys, can you believe how fast February is going? And they're like, I know. I go, but at the same time, doesn't it feel like Valentine's Day was a month ago? And they're like, yeah. And
Not just a week?
Yeah, that was just 7 days later. It's how can 1 month feel like it's flying by, but the last week feel like forever? I don't get it. It's just weird, but I'll take it. Anytime we've got less than a handful, like you said, less than 50 days of school left.
Yeah, it's crazy. And people keep asking me, I know we're not talking about the movie right now, but
whatever. People
keep asking me, are you ready for summer? And it's honestly, no, because my class is so good this year.
Oh, yeah.
They're they're amazing. It's they're so smart. And even my lower ones, they try so hard and it's clicking. And I can, I'm no, I'm not ready for summer. I want to keep these kids.
Yeah.
Bad.
And, and so we were talking pre-show, we both have a lot left in the school year and limited days to do it. And so I just hope that the next, couple of months can roll by relatively casually and nowhere near the amount of drama that comes up prior to prom as it came in this movie.
Yeah.
That would be some bonkers stuff. Hey, what happened in Lewistown there the couple weeks before prom? He's got a little hairy.
Yeah.
Our movie here kicks off 6 years prior with a group of kids doing what a group of kids would never do today, but definitely would do back in my youth. And that is, hey, there's an abandoned building that looks completely unsafe. Let's go play in it. That was something that we did quite often growing up. It's dangerous, but these kids there's 4 of them: Wendy, Jude, Kelly, and Nick, and they're playing hide and seek in just this abandoned building. It's a really macabre version of hide and seek. It's just straight hide and seek.
Yeah.
But I don't even know what they call the game, but basically there's the person who's seeking is the killer.
Mm-hmm.
And if they find you, then you join the killer and you're now killers.
Yeah.
And so really, I don't feel like anybody wins.
No, and it's the most annoying game because it's all they do is, the killers are coming. The killers are coming. And Casey texts me from the back room and he's like, what are you watching? I'm like, our movie for the podcast. He's like, that is so annoying. Those kids. And I was like, I know.
Thankfully, though, excuse me for the yawn. This daylight savings threw me off. But thankfully, though, it's only on for the first 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah.
We have another trio of children that comes upon this abandoned building, and they see the game being played because Nick is standing outside, he crawled through a window and is literally on the roof of this building trying to hide. And so Robin, one of the 3 kids that approaches, she goes into the building because she's 10, so she knows these kids. She goes in there and she wants to play. Well, these 4 kids are just nasty. Mm-hmm. They're just bad kids.
They are.
They're just jerks. And so they're going to let her play, but then they decide, okay, they quickly circumvent the rules to decide the four of us are just going to join up. Mm-hmm. And they kind of corner Robin, and they just keep, yelling, kill, kill, kill at her. Because it's the game they're playing. But they're, like, so aggressive and in her face.
Yeah. Shoving her back and forth. Like, she's bouncing off of them.
Yeah. It's like mosh pit hide and seek.
Yes.
But she falls out one of the windows of that second floor to her death. Mm-hmm. And the kids obviously weren't planning that. So they do, unfortunately, what most 11-year-old kids would do. They just run. Like, they see her body fall. She falls to her death. Then, like, the window frame falls out and crashes on top of her. Like, she's dead. Like, there's no coming back from this one. Mm-mm. She's a goner. And we see footsteps approaching, but we don't know who it is. All we see is a shadow. So somebody saw this happen. And then we cut to 6 years later, present day, 1980. Disco's still very much alive in 1980.
And they are, like, having a little memorial thing for her death. Yeah. And she had a set of older twins, Kim and Alex.
Yep.
And they're getting ready for prom to be held that evening, which I think it's so weird that, like, their prom is on, like, a school night.
Yeah, I agree.
I was
it's 1980.
Yeah.
Like, you're right, though. It is odd that prom is on a school night.
Because
we think of prom today, and it's like, there's no way they're going to all get their hair appointments done or their nail appointments done. But it's like, it's 1980.
Yeah, like
all you needed was a can of hairspray. Like, nobody got their hair done. You just put in your can of Aquanet and go to prom. But yeah, so like you said, it's prom. Prom is right on the horizon.
And Kelly, Jude, and Wendy are starting to get these, like, phone calls, kind of like you had mentioned in, like, Black Christmas. Like, it's my turn to play, or something, obscene like that. And
or precursor to Scream.
Yes. I haven't seen Scream, but I agree with you. And Nick gets a call, but he's on the way out with his dad, so he just ignores the call. Yeah. And head to school, where Kim and Nick are now dating. And it's like, Nick is kind of like the hot commodity at high school, I feel like, because he was just dating Wendy.
Yeah.
And now he's with Kim.
Yeah, he gets passed around.
Yes.
And I think this also shows that Kim has no idea that Nick was involved in her sister's death.
Yeah.
There's no possible way she knows. Because obviously they all ran off, and Kim and what was her brother's name?
Alex.
Kim and Alex left when Robin went into play. Kim and Alex left, and so it was what it was. But you would think that if Kim knew that Nick was involved in the death of her sister, that she would not be canoodling with Mr. Nick. But yeah, like you said, she was dating. He was dating. Who was it? Jude. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was dating Jude, and now he's dating Kim, and they're going to prom together.
And or Wendy, he was.
Yeah, dating Wendy.
Wendy, yeah.
Wendy was just awful.
She is the mean girl of the group. She is, yeah. And Jude was asked by this
slick,
Seymour,
which again, the 80s was a different era. Jude is walking on her way to school. This like conversion van pulls up next to her. Slick's got this massive fro. He's like leaning out the window, basically just catcalling her. Hey there, and you need a ride to school? Yeah, I do. So, and she goes, the next thing you know, Slick and Jude are a thing now. So.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, like I guess he's got wheels. So
and confidence.
Maybe that's all it took.
Got a lot of confidence. The confidence definitely make up for the lack of looks in Slick's department.
Yeah. And Wendy, who we had just mentioned, Mean Girl, she's going with like this kind of dirtbag at the school,
This is
Lou.
a Neanderthal.
Oh my goodness.
She's got a unibrow. And really, the only reason she's going with Lou is because Lou is as far from Nick as you can get.
Yeah. And I mean, she just, it's, I don't know. He's gross looking.
Yeah, Lou is not only gross looking, but gross acting too.
Yeah,
like,
he just is kind of scuzzy.
He's the kind that would just grab a butt. Mm-hmm. And then with no thought as to why that's wrong and no understanding as to why it's inappropriate. Mm-hmm. Because he just treats these high school girls like just objects.
Yeah. And so it's after gym class. Kim and Kelly are in the locker room and they hear this bang and realize that the mirror in there is cracked and there's a piece of glass missing.
A very large piece of glass.
Yeah. And later on they find that in their locker there's pictures of them torn out from the yearbook with these like pieces of glass.
Yeah.
On them.
Wendy, Jude, and Kelly, the ones that got the anonymous phone calls earlier. So something's afoot here. Like there's some very disturbing things going on targeting these three. And we assume Nick, but he didn't answer the phone. But yeah, targeting these three girls that were involved in Robin's death 6 years ago.
Yes. And Kim and Alex's dad is also the principal. Yeah. And he recently finds out that this sex offender has been released or escaped from this psych ward facility type that he's been in. So he's on the hunt, and Nick's dad, who is a lieutenant.
Well, yeah. And not only that, but like the sex offender was the one that was blamed for Robin's death.
Yes.
And so that's why, I mean, obviously the principal...
It hits so close.
Yeah, the principal cares because he's the principal of the high school with teenage girls, but it's also his daughter that this guy's been locked up for.
Yeah. And so they're both just on edge kind of the whole movie about this guy. Oh my goodness. We're both yawning.
I know, between your coughs and my yawns. We're not bored, listeners and viewers. We're not bored. It's just, I don't know about you, we are recording this the day of the time change. And so losing that hour makes a big difference.
Yeah, and being up late last night. And
yeah, same.
Yeah. Same. And so Kim and Nick, like we said, they are heading to prom, and that does not sit right with with Wendy. So her and Lou are kind of getting this like game plan gathered of what they're going to do that night at prom.
Okay.
And I feel like I've skipped quite a bit. But maybe not. No.
No, you're all right.
Yeah, they're chit-chatting, whatnot. We get to prom night, and we've got a hot and steamy scene of Kelly and Drew in the changing room.
Yeah, they're, again, like, this movie, like, it clips right along. Like, it's an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And there are times that it feels like they're dialogue heavy, but really, I mean, it jumps right through it. Like, the events of this day, the events of this movie eclipse, like, 2 days.
Yeah. So they end up not doing anything. She gets dressed, an unidentified man.
Yeah.
Oh, I did skip something. Lou is wearing a ski mask in the cafeteria.
Oh, right.
I was like, I feel like I'm skipping something that kind of made me...
Too. Yeah, because... Because he came in to basically pick a fight because...
Yeah.
Kim is the star of our movie. Mm-hmm. And so she's the one getting the attention. Lou comes in. He's got a ski mask on. He's picking a fight. His cronies jump in as well. Like, it's just this big to-do. Really, the only point of this scene is to show him in a ski mask, to plant him as what's called a red herring. To hang it on and we're like, Lou's wearing a ski mask.
Yeah.
That guy's got a ski mask. It's got to be Lou. Mm-hmm. If you see enough horror movies, it's never the case. They
No.
do that so that, like, honestly, it would be very inventive for a horror film to actually have Lou be the killer.
Yeah.
Because by putting on a ski mask early, you just excuse him from being the killer. Because you're like, oh, that's too obvious. It's not him. It'd be great if someone's like, yeah, it was all along.
Yeah, like plot twist, it was.
Tricked you.
So he is suspended or expelled from this school. So he does have like a vengeance to get back.
Yeah, he's got a grudge now. And
Yes.
I even love the conversation, too, with the principal. Because he's looking at Lou and he's like, and if you think I'm going to handle you differently because my daughter's involved, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I also love how, and again, it's always, as knowing how the discipline works in a real school district, I always get a kick out of it when high school, it's always high school, when high school principals in movies just tell kids, you're expelled.
Yeah, like no paperwork, just go.
No, that's not how it works. There is like a trial, and there's, there's why it doesn't happen very often. Because it is a lengthy process, and you got to have so much evidence.
Yes.
But not back in the 80s. You're expelled. All right, I guess I'm out of here then.
Gotta go. And so, yes, now we've passed the steamy part of Kelly and Drew.
Yeah, which nothing happens because
No.
Kelly's a virgin.
Yes.
And understandably, she doesn't want to lose it on a locker room bench.
Yep, and 100% agree, because the smell probably doesn't get her in the mood.
No.
And an unidentified figure comes up with, what is he wearing? A ski mask.
A ski mask.
And slits her throat with a mirror shard.
Right.
So, and it was at this point that I thought that it was at this point that I knew who the killer was, just because because he's practically been absent the entire movie. And I was like, this is so obvious.
Yeah, they introduce him and then really give him nothing to do.
Yeah, no. So Jude and Slick, they're in his van out parking.
Yeah.
Having a great time.
Slick's got game.
He does.
Because Jude is way out of his league.
Mm-hmm.
But in his mind, he's like, hey,
yeah.
There's that old saying of like, how's it go? Something along the lines of, I've lost it, but it's something along the lines of, I may not be the guy here that you want to talk to, but I'm the only one talking to you. You know, something along those lines of like, I may not be your first pick, but I'm the only one talking to you.
Yeah, confidence is key here.
Yeah, Jude was all like, whatever, I am at your disposal, Slick.
Yes. And where they are attacked by this masked killer as well, who just goes ham on her.
Kind of a cool scene, because she's like, they're post-coital, they finished up, they're smoking a joint, and she's like leaned back against the door of the van. Mm-hmm. And it's just kind of cool. That door opens up, she falls backwards, and he just goes to work. Yeah. And it's like that was kind of cool, because it's not your usual chase you down in the woods kind of stalker scene.
Yes.
It was, I'm going to catch you by surprise.
Uh-huh. And Slick moved, I mean, he did pretty well. Like, he kicked this guy off.
Yeah.
He immediately, even though he can't see because he doesn't have his glasses,
right,
is like in fight mode, like backing the van up, trying to run over him. I mean, he did really good until he drove himself off of a cliff and died.
You can't win them all.
No.
But hey, I guess not that you want to go out that way, but you are high, and you just had sex,
and for the first time. So
that's true. Yeah. It's like kind of an up and night down for Slick.
Yes. And back at the school dance, principal is informed that the sex offender has been caught.
Yeah.
And so the dad's like able to enjoy now.
Yeah, he's relaxed now.
Yes. And lo and behold, Wendy's in the bathroom fixing her mascara, getting all pretty, and the lights go out.
Yeah. I'll give the killer credit. He he had a really good idea where everybody was.
Yeah, he did. For not being there.
Right. I imagine the like if they were filming all this in real time, I imagine how much time did he spend looking?
Yeah. Yeah.
In his like full black ski mask carrying various weaponry.
Yes.
Like,
and so yeah, he kind of traps her. Wendy gets loose.
A lot.
She is just running because this school is ginormous.
Yeah.
And I get there's big schools out there, but this one is like, I felt like 5 stories tall from all the stairs.
And they never preface where they are.
Yeah.
But you get the vibe that with a school this size, there's probably not any other high schools. Mm-hmm. Unless you're in like a major metropolitan city. But you would also suspect with a school this size, there would be more kids.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was thinking, because I'm like, also like, why do we only know 6 people?
Yeah.
But
it's a huge school with a pretty small cafeteria. Apparently just one administrator, no assistants.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
And they are just like cat and mouse chasing around. Just, I mean, there's several close calls. And she finally gets into the storage room, and it's like dripping red paint, what she thought. Yeah. And come to find out, it's a body that had been stabbed and split open.
Which we saw Kelly get killed.
Yes.
Right. But yeah, this guy went to work on her.
Yeah.
One person we left out is the single janitor at this gigantic high school. Sykes, planted again as a red herring because he's this creepy alcoholic, really younger than he should be, because you look at him and you're like, you don't look a lot older than the cast of this movie, but you're just disheveled. And so yeah, he saw Wendy get murdered by our killer, and he tries to do the right thing and let people know, but of course they're like, it's just drunk custodian Sykes. He doesn't know, he's drunk. Yeah, that doesn't work out. No.
And so meanwhile, Kim and Nick are going to be crowned prom queen and king.
Oh, of course they are.
And they are the new like power couple for the school nowadays. And Lou is ready to put his plan in motion, where they like knock out Nick.
Yeah,
with just one swift hit, just knock him out.
We're gonna get Nick out of the way and stand in as his replacement.
Yes, and I mean, honestly, as much as I didn't really like Lou, it was kind of like, I'm not condoning it, but it's kind of funny, like, because everyone's gonna be thinking Nick's gonna walk out and Lou's gonna walk out, and it's just gonna be like, what the heck?
Yeah. Didn't he get expelled this afternoon?
Yeah, and it's like, no, like, real harm was done about it.
Other than they just knocked out Nick.
Yes. And so, mistaking Lou for Nick, this axe-carrying man just chops off his head.
Right.
As
intended to go for Nick, obviously.
Yes. And it just rolls out so perfectly on the little catwalk that's out there, and just looks at the crowd.
Yep.
And they are all like, ah! And the guy holding the flowers, I was just laughing because it's like, it reminded me of that like meme, like, go get an adult. Oh wait, I am the adult. Because he's like, guys, don't panic. And then he's like running away screaming as well. It's like, oh, dude, you're the adult here. Kim finds Nick. She lets him go. The killer is back, and him and Nick and Kim just kind of get into this big fight.
Right, and it's odd, because clearly the killer has earmarked certain individuals.
Yeah.
Because when they're confronted by this masked killer, he's only interested in Nick. Like, he's attacking Nick, he's ignoring Kim. And so Kim, being the heroine that she is, who's being ignored in this fight, she takes the axe and hits him in the head.
Yeah, and they make eye contact, and this is like, you can see in her face that it's like her stomach has just sunk.
She not only realized what she's done, but she's realized what's happened.
Yeah.
And
it's
who's
like,
involved.
Yeah. Killer escapes.
Yep.
Police are outside. They're ready to shoot. And she's like guarding, and he collapses. And this is where he confesses that those people killed their sister.
Yeah, I saw Robin die. They all did it. They were responsible.
And Kim has lost another sibling.
Mm-hmm. On prom night.
Yeah.
Not that there's ever a good time.
6 years to day.
Pretty close. Not like I said, not that there's ever a good time
for
one of your siblings to crack and go on a murderous spree before dying themselves. But prom night, talk about ruining someone's evening. She didn't even get crowned.
No.
Lou stole the show.
Yeah. His head.
What a terrible night for Kim.
And it just kind of to end the movie, it flashes with the body that was looking over her was her brother.
Yeah.
And that is the end of prom night.
That's it. I know it would never happen because of the way just things work, but I would think it would be so much fun to have a completely disco-themed prom.
That would be pretty cool.
I mean, completely. And granted, I know that you lose a little bit of control over the dresses. You're not going to be able, because there's just an era and those dresses aren't around anymore. But I think it would be so fun to put together a prom with a full-blown 80s, just disco theme. The kids are on board with it. It plays nothing but disco music. I just think it would be so much fun. But again, it won't happen because I know the kids will never go for it.
Yeah.
But I think if they opened up and just were okay, I trust you.
Yeah.
They I could guarantee you, I could throw a pretty kicking disco prom.
When Ella is a freshman, I would be a class.
Good Lord.
I'll be a class sponsor with you, and it's things are already coming back from the 70s and 80s, like bell bottoms and things like that. Maybe the disco will make it back by then.
We'll see. I doubt it.
And then when she's a junior, I'll help you throw a disco themed prom.
Yeah, it would be. I could start now. If I just start playing a lot of disco music now.
They have to get into it.
I could plant that seed. If I start playing it now to where she hears it a lot, then she'll know the words and the songs. Yes. And then next thing you know, she's like, I'm open to that. I like those songs.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's not kid ourselves. It was you don't know. I was born in that era, but obviously I wasn't processing memories through that era. But I do have a soft spot for disco. I do like disco music. I just the openness and freeness of that time. I won't say I like the culture because it's I'm not wearing feathered hair and bell bottoms, but in polyester suits. But I just think if the kids could be you know what, let's do it. Let's just have fun with it. It could be a ton of fun.
Mm-hmm. Just
a lot. I mean, if the kids came in and saw the dance floor lit up,
yeah,
that alone would be and disco balls.
That would be awesome.
No kid, the kids would be oh, I really didn't think this is awesome.
Yes.
It'd be awesome. And there's plenty of fast music to dance to. I mean, that's the whole era was dance.
Yeah.
So you got nothing but songs to dance to, slow songs to dance to.
And they sure danced at that prom.
Yeah, they did.
That prom was like any prom I've never been to. I've only been to 4, chaperoned 2, but whew.
I'm telling you. And then what you do, you get that preface build up, and then in a lead up to prom, you start holding some, I won't call extracurriculars, but just some sessions, like disco dance sessions prior to prom to where like you bring in somebody from that era that could show kids the moves.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
It'd be like little dance, like prom dance lessons where you learn different disco moves. Like, it would be sweet.
It would be.
It would be a lot of fun. The kids, I mean, how many disco songs are there in like the Just Dance video games?
Oh, a lot. I feel like
there's a lot of these songs these kids would know that they just don't associate it with like the disco era.
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be a blast. It would be an absolute blast. But they never go for it.
No.
It would be a lot. Like, it would be the most fun prom they'd ever been part of. And their parents would love it.
Yes.
Yep. A lot of their parents would be like, "Oh yeah, that's great." Grandparents would love it.
We wouldn't have to worry about like chaperones because everyone would want a chaperone.
Yeah, yeah. I'll be there. I love that stuff. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Pipe dream. I gotta work out.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah. So, sticking with the school theme, prom. Let's give this thing a grade. What are you gonna grade this, Courtney?
I'm gonna give it a B+.
Good. I was curious where you fell on the do you like it or not.
Yes, I did like it. It wasn't like, of course, again, like not every horror movie is scary.
No, yeah, it's not scary.
I mean, it was definitely like the slasher type horror movie.
A little more solve a mystery style.
Yes. So like the scare aspect wasn't there for me, but it was still a good movie. I mean, yeah, I enjoyed it. I wish that they wouldn't have taken Alex to the principal's office as well, because right then it was like I knew that he was the killer.
Yeah.
Because it's like, who else knows about that? And it's not the dad. So.
Right. Yeah, it was. They played their hand a little early.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a B. It's weak in some areas. You know, the movie is definitely about getting from the death of Robin to the end. And so in doing that, like, you know, like with the exception of Wendy, like we know nothing about Jude and Kelly.
Yeah, no.
Wendy was mean as a kid and she's mean now. And they did a good job of making sure when like we met some of these characters that they cut to what they look like back when they were 11, because otherwise, like, Jude and Kelly, and even Wendy, to a degree, those three are just interchangeable. Mm-hmm. Wendy had some personality to her. She was clearly that, you know, that bad girl. Nick, but on top of it, I guess the one I struggle with the most is these four kids knew that they were responsible for the death, and then they all just, like, it's one thing to, like, we're never going to speak about this, but it's almost like then they just all forgot about it.
Yeah, like it didn't phase any of them. It looked like.
Right. Like, even like Nick is like, I don't care, you know, like, I'm going to date Kim. I'm like,
yeah.
I understood you dating Wendy because you guys have this little thing, you know, like you're part of this group and this pack.
Yes.
Almost, and some was kind of like the Craft, you know, of like, they all shared something, so they kept their social circle really close. But Nick's like, I'm going to go date Kim because, you know, she's hot. And but you killed her sister.
And every time you go over there, you have to see pictures of her.
But it's like, you know you did this, and you just... But again, at the same time, Nick was a nice guy. Mm-hmm. You know, it's almost like, well, I made a mistake, and but you didn't own it. And yet, now you're dating the sister of the girl that you were responsible for killing.
Yeah.
And granted, yes, it was an accident, but you still were involved. Mm-hmm. So, and that, just those little weak points of like, again, we've talked about it week after week, when I start overthinking things a little bit. But ultimately, it was a fun movie.
Yeah. The lighting was... I have definitely started paying attention to lighting more, and it's like the lighting was good because some points it's like you could only see because it was like the moonlight coming in.
And I'm glad you're starting to appreciate that, because I've talked about it, and especially in like 80s era movies where, you know, they didn't, like we said before, they don't have the full blown like lighting kit to where we can make sure everything's lit anyway. You're right. Like if it was dark, like especially that, you know, the scene with Jude and Slick, when you've got a man dressed all in black with a black ski mask chasing somebody down in the dark, you don't see him.
No.
Until he comes out of the shadows. Whereas if you film that today, you'd see every move because you would have lit the entire scene and made sure it's visible. And I got a soft spot for that. I always have and I always will. So
yeah.
Good grades for this one. Nice work. Educational lesson.
If you do something that you're not proud of or like is wrong, talk to somebody about it. Like which in kindergarten it's a whole lot less than killing someone.
Yeah.
But it's like one of my kids took a marker and colored on my carpet.
Oh.
And so I had just asked who did this? And nobody wanted to say it. I'm like, you guys aren't in trouble because it's like you're curious. I get that. Happens. And you're 5 and 6 year olds, but I'm going to be upset if you don't tell me. Like, you're in more trouble if you lie about it or hide it. And I mean, eventually, like the little kid that did it came up and told me, and it's just like you're not in trouble, but it's like, granted, somebody died, so they probably would have had something. But it's like if you would have just told somebody, "Hey, we know this was wrong," like. Just don't hide stuff like that.
Because nobody pushed her out the window.
No.
So even though they were being mean to her, that isn't what led to her death.
No.
And so you report it, you're like, we were playing, and she just fell. And
yeah.
She did. She fell.
Yes. And it's like an honest mistake happened. Yeah. And unfortunately, like, they hit it. And the wrong person got blamed, and that happens a lot in classrooms as well. Like, the wrong kid gets blamed, A, because who they are, or B, because it's like, well, I didn't see you do that, so you're not going to get in trouble. It's like, please, just, if you do something, tell. Do not hide it or keep it a secret.
Right. I guess mine's going to go on a little, like, an adult route of, if you know that there is a escaped prisoner roaming around your neighborhood, I don't know, come up with a plan B.
Yeah, prom's not that important.
Right. I understand that these kids worked hard, and yes, they will be disappointed. I get it. But you have 6. You have 6 dead people at your prom. On prom night. Because Jude got killed, and then, Kelly got killed, and then Jude and Slick got killed, and then Wendy got killed, and then Lou got killed, and then Alex got killed.
Yeah.
So, maybe have some security around. Like, just beef it up a bit. Have more people chaperoning than the high school principal.
Yeah. And like whoever the other short guy was.
Yeah.
Like, there were like 3 adults there for that big of a school. I mean, come on, people.
Yeah, and this always bothered me. Whenever I would chaperone dances at the high school, I made an effort. I was always moving. If you have chaperones at a dance, don't hover together and socialize because you're not chaperoning anything. No. The whole reason you're there is to be visible so that people who might be thinking about doing something inappropriate may see you and realize that they shouldn't. Yeah. But when you guys are all hunched up over by the punch bowl, things are going to happen.
Yeah, as they did.
Like multiple people getting murdered. Yeah. So, all right. Well, that wraps up Prom Night, 1980s Prom Night. Do you have a recommendation for next week?
No.
No. All right. Well, my wife has one.
All righty.
I said to her last night, I wonder if Courtney's got a pick. She goes, if not, you should watch The Shining.
Okay. And that's the one with the twins, right?
Yeah, we're going back to the Stephen King universe.
Okay.
With The Shining. I was like, do you feel like watching it? She goes, yeah, I'll watch it. She goes, if Courtney has something in mind, that's fine. But otherwise, let's do The Shining. Just out of curiosity, I do want to see what we would have shuffled upon. Just to see if it merits watching or not. Let's see. Here we go. And if we were to have shuffled... Yeah, you're going to like The Shining more.
Okay.
Yeah. A movie that I really enjoy. It's called Bubba Hotep. Yeah. the premise of Bubba Hotep is there's an old folks home where Elvis Presley is still alive, but he lives in this old folks home with John F. Kennedy, who's played by a black man. Okay? And so what happened was Elvis was getting, in the story, Elvis was getting old and tired, so he found an Elvis impersonator that did such a great job that they basically just swapped lives. So Elvis is still alive. John F. Kennedy is still alive, but he just underwent surgery to become a black man. And they both live in this old folks home. And there, it gets better. There is a mummy there's a mummy dressed as a cowboy. Because, the word like Hotep. Hotep is like an Egyptian, it's like a pharaoh's kind of suffix. Bubba Hotep. There's a cowboy mummy that comes to this old folks home, and the only way it can prolong, and it is a mummy, the only way they can prolong its liveliness and gain its power is by sucking the souls out of old people through their butts.
This is like going to Golden Corral. It's got a little bit of everything at the buffet.
Yep, you're absolutely right. So old Elvis Presley and Black JFK team up to go stop this cowboy mummy from sucking the souls out of everyone's butts.
And this is a horror movie?
Oh, it is. It's a lot. It's a lot of fun. If you go with the premise of like, okay, this is going to be ridiculous. It's a fun movie. The cast, they do a good job. It's well made and it's a lot of fun, but it's not for everyone. And so The Shining, on the other hand, is often regarded as one of the scariest movies ever made.
Yeah, I already texted Casey and I was like, "You gonna watch The Shining with me?" And he responded, no.
Yeah. I will give you this though. It is more emotional horror.
Okay.
I don't want you to go in thinking that it's going to be
like jump scares.
Right. Not a lot of jump scares. Probably none. But this is definitely more situational, emotional. Like if you put yourself in the position of one of the characters, you're really going to be like you'll feel it.
Okay.
You'll feel the heavy. You know what I mean? It's not like The Strangers, where it's just atmospheric. But yet, with The Strangers, you put yourself in the position of like Liv Tyler.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my gosh, this is terrifying. And so I would say that The Shining is similar to that. It's very good. It's a great movie. Stanley Kubrick, one of the greatest directors to have ever lived, directed this movie. And so it's definitely got a vibe to it. But yeah, it's got the twins, but they're a very small part of this movie. But no, if you're good with it, we'll watch The Shining next week.
My mom is an identical twin, and there's a picture of her and her twin out. Like my Grammy has it, and they're in like those old frilly dresses, the tall socks, nice. And their hairs and headbands. And I'm like, every time I look at it, I've never seen the movie, but it's all I think of is like the Shining twins. Yeah, it's the Grady twins. And so also 1980. Oh. Yep, this movie came out May 23rd of 1980, and Prom Night came out on July 18th. So just a couple of months apart. I have actually been to the hotel used in the exterior of the Overlook Hotel in The Shining. That's cool. It's I've been there. It's out in Oregon. From what my aunt and uncle told me when they took me there, it's up on Mount Hood, if I remember correctly. We drove up there, we pulled up, and I was on our way up. Like my uncle kind of timed it. He knew we were getting ready to hit the peak, or where this is set. Well, let's see. This says it was filmed in Glacier National Park. No, there it was.
the Timberline Lodge on Mount Hood in Oregon was filmed for a few of the establishing shots of the Overlook Hotel. So yeah, so it was the legit, the exterior of the hotel. And I'll tell you, having seen the movie several times, when we come up around the bend, and then there it was one of those like shivers down your spine moments of like, whoa. So yeah, I've been there. It's pretty cool. Like again, the exterior, which is so awesome that they used. They didn't use that lodge for the interiors. They used a different hotel in Glacier National Park, Montana, for the insides. And then they went to Oregon for the outside. So, The Shining. Oh, love this movie. This would be a good one. This falls up there on the line of like Halloween, where it's like I know we kind of joked there a few weeks ago with Erica about what classics are.
Yeah.
But this is one of those like genuine classics.
Classics.
Yeah. Of like, top 10 list of scariest movies ever made. You're going to see this movie pop up in most, if not all of them.
Does something come out of the TV here?
Nope.
No? I wonder what that one is then.
The Ring.
The Ring, yes. Yes, The Ring.
They rhyme. The Ring, The Shining. No, that's The Ring.
Okay.
So, well, social media-wise, you guys know where to find us. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You still working on TikTok stuff or no?
Yes, I want to become better at it.
I know. Yeah, there's no rush. I'm not on TikTok anyway, so.
Post anything and it look a fool.
No, that's fine. We gotta start somewhere. So
I know.
So, but no, that's where you find us on social media. Again, like we tell you all the time, like, subscribe, comment. If there's anything you would love us to cover, we'd love to cover. And if we know you and you're listening and you're like, you know what, I kind of have an idea, but I'd like to talk about it, hit us up. We'd love to have you as a guest on the show. We'll talk about it with anybody that we get a chance to. So,
yes.
Well, Courtney, you got anything to send them out with?
Don't be too tired this week.
Oh, I know. You'll bounce back.
The kids will probably be pretty crazy this week because of time change, but have a great week.
It's always weird how that stuff happens, but you're right, it does. So,
yeah.
All right, like you said, have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you next week when we talk about Stephen King and Stanley Kubrick's The Shining.
Bye.